What was the North Shore Cadre?
That was uh, a group of people that Fred Buss got a hold of their names of people that were related in some way, like, because they most of them were husbands of our women that were created the New Women's Forum, and so they got a hold of these men as well as us women, and first they had a weekend session of women, and Joe uh, Slicker, so on, talked about women. The women's role was not completely developed, and they were always put on the lower edges of life. And it was time that women came forward and were recognized and would do something with their lives. And then they want to know the names of our husbands. and then Fred finally admitted what we really wanted was your money. We were not as interested in yourself. We needed some more money. So we used to meet out at the Dressler home. They had a second home out on the lake. We used to meet up there on weekends and take courses and learn and plan trips and do all that kind of stuff. And I think we got involved doing some, really it was support work for what was going on. And then after we were together so long, Joe said, if you're serious, you're going to need to know what's going on in the world. He said, you're very ignorant of what's going on in all of the Asian countries and Far Eastern countries. You need to know what's going on. And so that's when the first global odyssey was created. We were the first ones to take a global trip around the world. And we divided into 3 teams, political, cultural, and economic. Every time we'd go into a city, we'd be given like 2.5 days, and we had to study what was going on in that country, and then we'd get together at the end of like a day or 2 and report and say, where does the Lord need us to be working in this place? Is it in this structure? Where is it that they're failing here? How are they doing here? And each one of us had to report, so we went to countries that represented the various nations, whole nations of the world, and came back with reports on what needed to be done. And it was tremendous. There were 31 of us who went. And they were,
wow. What were some, do you have any, were there any particular like moments or memories from that stood out for you?
Those trips. Probably if I had a good memory about it. I know Len Dressler used to sing for us on the way. You remember Len Dressler? Yeah. He had sung with a professional group and had sung quite a bit in Europe, and then he also did, he was on the radio, he was a part of an advertisement, I'll think of the name of it.
Ho, ho, ho.
That's it. Anyway, he was, and it was fun to have them live on the trip. And if our kids were of high school age, Joe says if your kids are high school age and they know a little bit more than most others, you could take them along too. So we took Kay along. There were a few kids taken along that I thought was tremendous for them to become aware of what was going on globally. And we used our knowledge of those countries. Some of us would be sent back again, to do courses. When we finally lined up what we were going to do in various places, some of us went on those.